Hi, everybody. I'm here with comedian Ron Placone. You can't see him, but you can hear him. Hi, Ron.
Hey, Jimmy.
So, as predicted, Donnie Tanahan's Trump's presidency creates a bit of a problem for the Republicans, right? Because let's remember, Donnie Tanahan's very, very, very unpopular going in. No honeymoon for Donnie Tanahan's, right? So, well, here's the New York Times. They had an article, Inaugural Speech Dims GOP Hopes for a More Conservative Trump Agenda. So Donnie Tanahan taking a sledgehammer to the conservative agenda. Here's what it says. It says, one topic has dominated conversation among elected Republicans since President Trump's stunning victory. Will he actually pursue his campaign agenda of big government nationalism, all but obliterating the liberal conservative distinctions that have defined Americans' political parties for a century? Question mark. That's what all that says. I didn't make it big enough for you to read it, but that's what it says. While some of his advisors suggested that he would slip back into a more conventional Republican approach, Mr. Trump dropped hints in interviews, Twitter posts, and other public comments that he intended to push his party away from its free market internationalist dogma on trade, foreign alliances, immigration, infrastructure spending, and prescription drug access. Let me read that again. While some of his advisors suggested that he would slip back into his more conventional Republican approach, Mr. Trump has dropped hints in interviews, Twitter posts, and other public comments that he intended to push his party away from its free market, internationalist dogma on trade, which he just nixed the TPP. So he did that, and he said he's going to renegotiate NAFTA right now. Also from foreign alliances, immigration, infrastructure spending, and prescription drugs. That's all the ways he's differing right now with the conservative GOP. The hints are over, says the New York Times. An inaugural speech delivered with the same blunt force that propelled Mr. Trump's insurgent campaign has dashed Republican hopes for a more traditional agenda. With his, quote, new decree, he declared himself modern America's first popular president and all but dared his own party to resist his Republican reformation. So this is Trump taking the sledgehammer to traditional conservatism, and now they're going to have to choose. Mr. Trump's vision will inevitably collide with establishment Republican leaders in Congress. So Trump, the most unpopular president going in, is already colliding with his own party. And this outcome could determine not just the success of Mr. Trump's presidency, but also the identity of his party. So this is a big deal happening. The alarm and anxiety within the Republican Party's congressional wing towards its own president are remarkable. So they're saying that the anxiety that the members of Congress and the GOP have about Donald Trump is remarkable. And among Mr. Trump's most outspoken intra-party critics, the warnings of resistance are unambiguous. So guess who's coming after him? John McCain. Here's what John McCain said. There are three branches of government, said Senator John McCain. We now have a majority in both houses, and both majorities, I think, hold to basic conservative Republican principles. This is what John McCain's saying, meaning we're going to oppose the president. Preempting the threat of reprisal, right? Because well, hey, Trump's going to come back at you, Mr. McCain. What if he comes back at you and primaries you or something? Mr. McCain said he intended to be true to what he saw as his party and his voters. Quote, Trump carried Arizona by 4 points. I carried my state by 14 points. So there's already big riff, Ron. What do you think of that? There's already a big riff starting out all of a sudden. Inauguration day. Already John McCain, I'm opposing him. I'm more popular in my state than he is. So this is what I'm talking about with the midterms. Could be a bloodbath if the Democrats play their hand right. If the Democrats find a way to get so now the most unpopular guy ever as president, the Republicans are either going to have to defend him, which means they're going to be defending the most unpopular guy ever, or they're going to have to go against him, which splits the Republican Party. If you put in a Cory Booker or another bank-owned Democrat, that doesn't help. If you put another warmonger in, another Wall Street toady, or another bitch from the pharmaceutical companies like Cory Booker, you're dead. We need real progressives. And that's why we're forming new organizations. The Justice Democrats is the first one. So this is what I said would happen. And I've got it. By the way, I got no problem being wrong. Everybody was wrong about this whole election from top to bottom, coast to coast. So this is just my theory. The silver lining of a Trump presidency is that it's going to probably screw up the Republican Party, and it will open up a window for progressives to take over government. Whereas there was no lane. If the DNC got their way and got their corporatists in again, and it would have just been a bloodbath in 4 years for the Democrats. What the Democrats already wiped out. Their corporatism already wiped them out. So now they got so horrible that now Donnie Tynahan's is president, and he might blow up the Republican Party, which opens up a lane for a real progressive to take over. So here's a little bit more from that article. Mr. Trump and some of his closest advisors say such resistance, meaning John McCain's resistance, such resistance is not just futile, but foolish. And they are already pledging to harness Mr. Trump's following in the states and districts of recalcitrant Republicans to sound warnings of their own. They're already fighting. They're already threatening each other to go to war with each other. They like a path to citizen because they like cheap labor. Their donors like cheap labor, of course. That's why, by the way, if you're a Republican and you don't understand that they do like cheap labor. Mm-hmm. Just so you know. So they say that they don't like Trump's immigration. Paul Ryan has already said on the CNN that we're not going to do this. We're not going to build a wall. We're not going to have an organization rounding people up. He said it's not going to happen because it's got to go through Paul Ryan. Mm-hmm. Here's a little bit more. The incentive for many of these members will be to follow Mr. Trump's lead because he won many of their states, said Kellyanne Conway, the president's campaign chief turned senior White House advisor.
So this might be an alternative fact.
Trump did win Arizona, like McCain said, but he only won Arizona by 4 points, whereas McCain won it by 14. So this is what they're saying. They're ready for battle. They're ready to do battle with their own party. This is what it looks like. We'll see how it plays out. But let's remember what happened when George Bush's numbers after Katrina went so low. We got a completely Democratic Congress, Senate, and White House with a black guy with a Muslim name. So Donnie Tynahan's is lower than that guy going in. He's only going to get more unpopular, even with his own party. This is the opening. This is the opening for the Bernie-crats. This is for the opening for the Bernie Sanders progressives to take over and return government back to the people and get it out of the hands of Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, big oil, and pharma. This is a chance. This is the chance we have. We have it now. Wouldn't have had it with Hillary Clinton. We would have all been wringing our hands for 4 years, and then she would have got wiped out. But the Democrats got wiped out already. So now here's our chance.